Picture this: an ancient body of water that's been around for centuries suddenly starts to disappear. People are stunned as the once glistening waves of the Dead Sea begin to recede, leaving behind a barren landscape. But just when everyone thought the worst was over, something unexpected emerged from the depths of the newly dried seabed. What is it? Stay tuned to find out. A quick history. The Dead Sea is a lake that is supplied by the Jordan River. In the past, it was known by a variety of names, including the Salt Sea, the Eastern Sea, and the Sea of Sodom. Today, it is simply known as the Dead Sea. The majority of the names make reference to the fact that the salt and mineral content of the lake is between 30 and 40%, whereas the salt content of the ocean is only about 6%. The annual average rainfall is only approximately 5 centimeters. However, there are occasional severe thunderstorms. Even though there are microscopic quantities of bacteria and microbial fungi present, the ocean is referred to as dead because of its high salinity, which prevents larger aquatic species like fish and water plants from being able to survive in its environment. The Dead Sea is the lowest point on Earth, lying 1,320 feet below sea level. It is surrounded by the Judean Mountains to the west, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan and the mountains of Moab to the east, the Jordan Valley and the Sea of Galilee to the north, and the Negev Desert as well as the Red Sea to the south. The Dead Sea is located in the center of the Great Syrian-African Rift Valley, which extends throughout Israel and beyond. The first evidence of human activity at the Dead Sea dates all the way back to the distant past. Jericho is the world's oldest town that has been continuously inhabited, and it is located just to the north of the Dead Sea. As a result of the naturally occurring asphalt, the ancient Greeks referred to the Dead Sea as Lake Asphaltites. Aristotle referred to the extraordinary seas in his writing. In addition, the settlement of Qumran, which is known for producing the Dead Sea Scrolls, was situated near the Dead Sea. The religious and social ideas of Jews living in the 1st century AD are illuminated by these ancient documents, which were found in caves near the edge of the Dead Sea and were preserved by being sealed. On the western bank of the Dead Sea, King Herod the Great was responsible for the construction and reconstruction of a number of palaces and fortifications. The most well-known of these sites is Masada, which became famous when a band of Jewish extremists managed to withstand the might of the Roman legion between the years 66 and 70 AD. Machaerus, on the other hand, is believed to be the location where John the Baptist was imprisoned by Herod Antipas and ultimately died. The water from the Dead Sea has been found to contain 21 different minerals, some of which being magnesium, calcium, potassium, and bromine. 12 of these can be found in no other region or ocean, and several of them are known for their ability to induce a state of relaxation, to nourish the skin, to stimulate the circulatory systems, and to alleviate the discomfort associated with rheumatic conditions and metabolic illnesses. To give one specific illustration, the Dead Sea has 10 times the amount of salts and minerals that the Mediterranean Sea does. The high salt and mineral content makes it possible for anyone to float in its waters, but it prevents fish and other forms of marine life from flourishing in those waters. The Dead Sea is known for its black mud, which is a homogeneous mixture of Dead Sea minerals, significant organic materials from the coastline, and dirt. Black mud is considered to be a defining characteristic of the Dead Sea. Indulging in a black mud body wrap has both cosmetic and therapeutic benefits that are known to relieve muscle and emotional tensions, improve blood circulation, and ease rheumatic pain. The skin is known to be cleansed and stimulated after one of these wraps, as well as cleansed and stimulated after one of these wraps. The rich minerals and the tightening effect of the mud both improve circulation by boosting the flow of oxygen to the skin and removing the toxins from the skin. This results in the skin's tissues being toned and firmer, which leaves the skin appearing radiant and more young. The natural minerals in the skin are restored after being cleaned and purified with Dead Sea mineral mud. Because it contains such a high proportion of salts and minerals, the Dead Sea does not support any form of life, which is whence it gets its name. These natural components are what gave the water its curative properties, so thank them. Since the days of Herod the Great, more than 2,000 years ago, millions of people all over the world have recognized Dead Sea salt and Dead Sea mud as a single source of both health and beauty benefits from the Dead Sea. It is reported that Queen Cleopatra secured exclusive rights for the construction of pharmaceutical and cosmetic companies in the region. The high salinity and mineral content of the Dead Sea both work to promote cellular metabolism, which in turn helps to restore and regenerate damaged tissue. The Dead Sea salt can be used as a disinfectant and can assist in the removal of potentially damaging chemicals from the skin. Drying up. It is the lowest place on Earth that is open to the air, and the water is so full of salt that people who swim in it float right to the top. It is said that the biblical cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were on the site of this natural spa. The ancient Egyptians used the spa's minerals to put their dead bodies in tombs. but the Dead Sea is now dying, and its banks are crumbling. Every year, the water level drops about 4 feet. The main part of the lake is now about 950 feet deep. 50 years ago, it was about 15% deeper and had a third more surface area. Jane Ben-Zaken, an Israeli who says he runs the only passenger boats on the Dead Sea, says, "You've seen a living disaster right in front of your eyes. As the lake goes away, it changes the area around it in ways that are both scary and beautiful. When the water goes away, beautiful salt formations are left behind, but there are also scary pictures of beaches that have been closed and parking lots that have been swallowed by sinkholes along the coast. People have come up with ideas for how to fix the Dead Sea, but nothing big has been done to stop it from getting worse. Because of climate change, it seems even less likely that the lake can be fixed." NPR went out on the Dead Sea in a boat to find out what is being lost and what could be done to stop more erosion. Several countries and businesses are to blame. The Dead Sea is an inland lake that is partly in Jordan, Israel, and the part of the West Bank that is controlled by Israel. The lake, which is called the Dead Sea because it is too salty for fish to live in, has been shrinking for decades. Environmental researchers and officials say that people are to blame for the problem. In an area where water is scarce, Israel, Jordan, and Syria have used the freshwater sources that feed the Dead Sea to get drinking water and water for farming over the last few decades. Also, companies from Israel and Jordan evaporate Dead Sea water to get its minerals to sell abroad. In the lake's southern basin, there is an artificial evaporation pool where Israeli hotel resorts are located. This is a popular place for tourists to float in the mineral-rich Dead Sea water and slather themselves in the lake's mud. Ben-Zaken has special permission from Israel to take people on what he calls ecological awareness tours in this heavily armed border area by boat and kayak. "See that thing that sticks out there?" he asks from the boat, pointing to a spot on dry land on a hill high above. "I used to tie up my boat there 7 years ago. It's surprising to see that the ridges along the shore drop by 4 feet every year. The salty sea is retreating so quickly that it is leaving behind beautiful salt formations along the shores. There are small salt pebbles on the beach, big salt mushrooms on the shore, and tall salt chimneys sticking out of the lake. As the lake dries up, salt deposits in the ground dissolve, and holes along the shore turn into sinkholes, which are big holes in the ground. The parking lot at a popular beach had to be closed because a sinkhole ate up the parking area. The beach still has spooky things like beach chairs, a small grill, and an empty bar. Nearby, farmers have stopped growing watermelons and basil near the shores because sinkholes are dangerous. 4 years ago, part of a main road sank as if the earth had opened up and eaten it. Yael Kiro, a Dead Sea researcher at Israel's Weizmann Institute of Science, says as she stands at the edge of the sunk road, "It breaks my heart to see so much damage. This is just what happened because the lake level went down. No big steps are being taken to save the Dead Sea." Israel and Jordan recently made deals to work together on water. One of these deals is to fix up the Jordan River, which is the main source of fresh water that flows into the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea and the Holy Jordan River are treasures from the past and gifts for the future, King Abdullah of Jordan said at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Cairo on November 7. But Israel's announcement of the Jordan River Agreement doesn't seem to deal with the dangers to the Dead Sea. The World Bank, the Israeli government, and an organization for ecological peace in the Middle East have all come up with plans to fix up the lake. One idea is to build a canal that brings water from the Red Sea that has been cleaned of salt to the Dead Sea. Another idea is to get more water from the Jordan River into the Dead Sea. A third would make the mining companies pay for fixing up the lake. No major steps are being taken to do any of these things. There is a side effect of climate change. As the climate gets warmer, the desert around the Dead Sea gets hotter and it rains less often. As the number of people grows, the limited water resources will be used more for drinking and farming, leaving little water to fill up the Dead Sea. Galit Cohen, Director General of Israel's Environmental Protection Ministry, says, "This is so sad because the solutions are not easy to make and are now very, very expensive." In June, the ministry released its latest plan to save the Dead Sea. Cohen says, "If you want to bring water back to the Dead Sea, you have to use desalination water everywhere. Of course, this is very, very expensive, and not every country around us has that much money." A deadline is coming up that could force the Israeli company that takes water from the Dead Sea to do less damage to the lake's environment. Its right to mine minerals from the Dead Sea ends in 2030, and it wants to make a new deal in the coming years. Israel's Ministry of Environmental Protection wants new rules that would make the industry pump less water out of the Dead Sea. Some people find a good mix of pessimism and optimism. Shay Rabinow, who teaches Israel studies at Binghamton University in New York, and photographer Julian Bender recently spent 2 weeks hiking around the Dead Sea. They did this so they could write a book about the shrinking lake and how it affects the people who live near it. "We've heard a lot of negative things," Rabineau said after crossing the Dead Sea from Jordan into Israel. "People on the Jordanian side have said that our lives have gotten worse. It seems that most people are willing to accept that the level of this part of the Dead Sea could drop another 100 to 150 meters in the future. A 100-meter drop could take more than a century. At that point, some scientists say the Dead Sea may stabilize but become a very small lake. Some researchers are hopeful that the Dead Sea won't get that dangerously low because Israeli and Jordanian companies that take water from the Dead Sea will eventually use it all up. It will go down and down and down until one day it will be hard for the companies to pump water," said Rafi Benvenisti, who used to be a senior advisor to the Israeli government on Dead Sea rehabilitation. "How long will this natural wonder, which has been around for a million years, keep going away before something is done to stop it?" Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content like this. And if you have any thoughts or comments on the discovery we discussed today, we'd love to hear them. So be sure to leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Please hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we upload a brand new video to our wonderful channel. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Goodbye.